We've seen 2 days of playoff action, and it's been as crazy as expected. The biggest surprise, no doubt, has been 2Game, who have punched their ticket to the grand finals after upsetting M80 in a dominant 2-0 and crushing All Knights on map 3 to close their series with a 2-1 win. It's not necessarily that 2Game is winning these matches that's surprising, given the neck-and-neck feel of the entire tournament thus far, but rather that they've elevated their play to a whole new level during the break. M80, as mentioned before, were upset by 2Game, taking their first loss of the tournament. Obviously, you can't win forever, but M80 looked outclassed, to put it nicely, and didn't look anywhere close to their best selves. They bounced back with a 2-0 victory over Glories that included a huge comeback on map 2 with an absolutely wild clutch from Xander that all but sealed the deal. A 2-0 victory with a comeback may be the spark that M80 needed to play at their best from here on out.
I think this is the first time today, out of all the matches that we played at this tournament, that we played at least a 7 out of 10. So I'm very proud of the boys, and if we keep that up, we're just going to win, for sure.
They'll be pitted against All Knights for a spot in the grand finals. All Knights, despite their loss to 2Game, are definitely not a team to brush over. They pushed M80 to their limits in their opening match of group play and have had time to grow and adapt since then. If they can come out swinging and rattle M80's confidence right off the bat, we could see them capture their spot in the grand finals.
Entire season of Challengers, the group stage, and the playoffs. It is time for the lower finals. One team's dreams are about to be crushed and one step closer to being realized here at VCT Ascension Americas. It's going to be a great day today at Best of 5. I cannot wait to get started. My name's Sierra, and kicking it off on the desk, I have Dan Silly, I got Lemon Kiwi, I have the Goats, and we're going to have a great day. What's up, guys? Vance, how's it going?
I'm chilling, man. I'm looking forward for this best of 5. I've been waiting for this moment, too. There's been so many since group stages till now. I'm playing a lot of BO3s, and now we have an opportunity to try to hopefully play the distance between now All Knights and M80 to see who's going to face off against 2G in the grand finals.
Yeah, there's just way too many Canadians right now. There's Vantilli and I, and then M80. Oh my God, the seagulls are up.
I mean, you're talking about M80, and that's who we're going to be following, of course, as they're going up against All Knights here in the lower finals. This is going to be a great match ahead of us. We're only having one match on the day, but as previously stated, this is going to be a best of 5, and it's for the chance to try and make their way into that grand finals there for a date with 2G Vans.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun one, too, because M80 from the get-go during the group stages until this moment looked that they're going to be unstoppable, untouchable, although a lot of their games were not one-sided victories that they had in the group stages. But once they had that one-week break and we got into the playoffs, for them to get upset by 2G already in a 2-0 in the upper bracket was surprising for a lot of faces that coined M80 to be the clear favorites to ascend this year.
I mean, this competition has been fierce. Even from the first day of the group stage, I think a lot of expectations were completely flipped, which has made every single one of these matches so exciting because you never really know how it's going to be going down. We can look at the stats, we can look at our favorites, we can look at our talent predictions, and even if things are kind of skewed towards one way, you really never know on the day who is going to be showing up. And that has been, I think, the most exciting thing here for Ascension for me. And I mean, Jen, you're talking about all the Canadians on the desk, so the clean sweep here.
Everyone stand for your Canadian national anthem and the Americans on M80. Oh, no, I'm not going to start it. I think it's copyrighted.
Say, can you, Canada? See, that's we're not going to get copyrighted for that, right?
There is NA bias, but we own it, at least.
You know what? I'm actually going to go with I'm sorry, M80, because at this point, so many times we've gone through talent predictions and everybody's going through this one-sided prediction. It always has the Plat Chat curse that it's going to be the opposite team that wins it. So this is unfortunate. It's All Knights versus 2G in the grand finals now.
I mean, man, let's wait till after these maps can clear to figure this out, because it's still going to be a great day. I know that, yeah, you can talk about the NA bias, but when they're a favorite coming into this, there's a lot to be said there, but All Knights, they have definitely showed up so far. It's going to be a great day. And before we get too into the matchups, of course, we do have a little bit of an interview for a little bit more of the players' thoughts ahead of today.
I would say we put a lot of time into Sunset. Obviously, we've been struggling. I wouldn't say struggling on the map, but I feel like people are picking into us a lot, so people think we're very weak on this map. It's not the case. We just haven't shown a lot of our playbook. We played very poorly against, I believe, 2Game. And honestly, with the little adjustments that we did make on the map Sunset in particular, I think it's a very strong map for us, and I think that's the very big point of the series. I mean, we're going to do the usual thing we always do, you know, get back home, get back into the hotel room and talk game plan and talk about what we can be doing and we should be doing against that team. All Nice is a very good team, so we got to make sure we have everything down and everything kind of paved. And as long as we do that, we have a good game plan going in, I think we can win. That's a good one. I mean, I would say do the usual, guys. Like, always trust in your teammates, believe in each other, work together, play for your teammates and not yourself. That's about it, honestly. I always say trust and believe, and as long as we do that and play as a team, we'll always win.
Love hearing about that trust, the confidence from the team. And talking about M80 first, going ahead of this lower finals, I mean, regardless of any Canadian NA bias you want to talk about, there is a reason that going into this, a lot were predicting this team, because M80 throughout Challengers has really been one of these top dogs here, Jen. From across the board, we've been able to see these players step up.
Yeah, M80 is a star-studded roster, but they're facing one of their biggest challenges, which is going up against a different region than their own. They're used to dominating North America, and they were humbled in this bracket already. I want to highlight Nismo. His role on the team is pivotal. Breach maps, trap plays, entries, that's all on him. On your Abyss, on your Ascent, KO maps, his precision is key to get info in that early round. And not only is his role in the game important, but out of the game, he's the hype man, and he looks strong as hell, so I don't think you want to mess with him when he starts yapping across the table.
He looks very intimidating too when he starts yapping as well. I mean, he's as tall and big as a fridge, and he's going to tower down on you when he's looking down upon you face to face. But overall, I think looking back to what Xander was talking about here during the interview is to show a little bit of those changes that after being dismantled by 2G on a map like Sunset, for example, they were able to bounce back very well against VALORANT yesterday. So it's nice for them, yes, despite them getting upset by 2G, to get the loss out of the way now, so they know the taste of now defeat going into the playoffs, where it's like, okay, we know it's now do or die. This is our last chance, and we cannot go through any mistakes anymore. And I think playing under that pressure, these players individually have been shining because of those moments as well. So it's not only on the micro adjustments that have been doing on how they could counter, for example, a neon composition on Sunset, but it's also how now individually each one of these players are also finding these clutch moments.
And based on M80's bounce back yesterday, this is a team that doesn't have slumps, they have flukes. And I'm excited to see how they can stay in that form today and comfortable in the setup.
I mean, now we have to start talking about the opponents on the opposing end of things, and All Night. Their loss was a little bit more recent, just getting knocked down in yesterday's match. But for this All Night's team, right away in groups, when we're talking about those expectations, they came out swinging. They suffered a loss to M80 in back-to-back overtime matches. I think that was a really good indication of this team that, hey, there's a lot of firepower here. Even if there's a favorite, everyone has come out to play, and these matches have been close. The loss yesterday, Lemonade, kind of stung a little bit, but for All Nights, I mean, the explosive firepower across the squad can definitely get them far.
Yeah, All Nights was a competitive series yesterday, but just falling so short on the final deciding map, running out of gas and maybe out of ideas. 13-4 on Sunset. I was saying they look like all squires out there. It was so weird to see them not put up that much of a fight. But for AK, I really want to highlight Adverso, Chile's gift to Valorant. When he's having a quiet day, I worry about All Nights, one of the most intelligent Sovas that we have. In terms of just shock bolt placements, he can flush out any space that he wants. And M80 are a team that can play back, play out of sight, and very well off of their smokes. So Adverso's reads and educated guesses will be key to provide his team a sense of comfort, and so that they don't hesitate when they move around the map. And his team, Adverso's team, need to trust him. So if Adverso is unsure, if Adverso isn't on point, this team will resort to reactions, which can boil down to mechanics, which isn't a gamble you want to do against a team like M80. The key to victory for All Nights here is proactivity.
Yeah, if anything, Versal mentioned in an interview a couple of days ago that his team trusts him a lot and he appreciates it a lot, right? So they will trust into his IGL, into his call, into what he could read here in the mid-rounding. But also, he's also not necessarily the tip of the spear, because that's going to be Dante's role. But when Dante is getting shut down in these moments, you do have a good supporting cast that has good, strong firepower. Despite their loss yesterday here, they still look pretty decent. For example, for Nico Machine on that map of Sunset, he had some great anchoring moments for the team as well on the B side, despite the loss that looked very one-sided on a scoreline in itself. Those rounds in itself were very, very brawly too. So there's still going to be great fundamentals for the team under that pressure of those trade fights. It just now comes down to those high-pressure moments when players have to be in the clutch, where they have to step up a little bit more.
There is someone there that you're talking about that I want to talk about a little bit more, especially contrasted with over on the opposing end. Dante and Koala Noob. Because for AK, for All Night, when I see Dante, like, one of the most cracked zoomers out there. I know Roy always loves to bring out, this kid is only 17. And he goes out into the server and is just absolutely incredible. And then the team there with the util and everything to support. And Koala, I mean, he's been stepping up as of late, Vans. I mean, even yesterday, just crazy.
Yeah, I think overall what's good about both of these duelists is that they still fulfill the role of being that entry or being the one that's going to attempt the first blood for the team, but in a similar style, or in a different style, sorry, with the approach from the support cast around them, right? Koala Noob, as you can see, he has a higher first blood conversion rate because of the op that he pulls out on the defensive side, and how he could really be by himself in these moments to pick off opponents at the very least in the beginning and TP away as a Yoru. For example, Dante, though, he needs that reversal, fault line. He needs the recon dart. He needs flashes to come about so he could actually slide across and get those picks. So that's why, like, his conversion is going to be a little bit lower, but at least the trade percentages around Dante should be much higher because of the space that he creates and the chaos that he brings around the initial fight.
Yeah, and Koala Noob playing the Yoru is different than the Neon in terms of his escapability, and his times on those teleports, though, on the Yoru is limited. So there is a way to exploit Koala Noob. We've seen it do it from teams before, but not yesterday. And he's usually very good at adjusting his timings based on the other team's playstyles. Now, I want to see Dante be able to sync up with his initiators. And, the expectation is Dante go in, get at least one kill, go 1 for 1. But then the rest of the team need to pick up the slack, and it's either they need to take over the rest of the game, it can't just be the Dante show, or they need to go with Dante and make it so you're getting more than the 1 kill and you limit the utility options in the mid game. I need to see more team play, more synergy around Dante, because I felt like it was kind of just him yesterday.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, there's a big responsibility to keep both Koala Noob and Dante alive in these moments, right? So mechanically, they have to be really gifted in order to be able to escape freely. But when you see the Flood retakes that we coin All Nights being good for with the Neon as well, that's also something that Koala Noob could do under his Dimensional Drift or under the Flash that he does as well with the Yoru. So the stuns and the flashes approaches your retakes in a different way, but there's still a key component into trying to get first blood and trying to stay alive so that the team could go for Flood retakes if they lose site control.
I mean, for Dante, I'm looking at that staying alive because he is a flashy. He goes out first. He'll get a first blood, but then we get to see the fall. So I'm hoping that we get to see him a little bit later on into these rounds. But we're talking about the duelists. Let's talk a little bit more about that quote-unquote supporting cast, because the impact they make on the server doesn't necessarily feel cast. I mean, Vans, yesterday we have to talk about this one specific moment when we're talking about controller Xander.
Yeah, definitely. Xander, I think we already saw in a highlight reel previously and also in the clip before, but just looking at this one, the 1 versus 2 in high pressure moments, what you could do here and how much value you bring here to the team. The first one, isolating these 1v1s, it looked like on the side here of Galoris, they were playing to try not to lose, and it kind of slipped through that. And then the second time, we'll see it very soon here, is the 1 versus 4. This godly clutch that he's done here in order to win this this overtime round and eventually win the series for the team here of M80. Lemon Kiwi.
Yeah, and he's had these hot and cold moments, right? I think about the M80 versus 2G. If Xander's not having a good day, no one's having a good day. And then he absolutely bounced back the next day against Galoris, being the top fragger, but his survivability was key, going 23 and 11, the least amount of deaths on his team. So Xander picks and chooses his moments, and man, did he pick a damn good one yesterday.
I mean, that clutch potential, especially when we have this best of 5 ahead of us, is absolutely important to advance. we have to look and compare and contrast to the opposing end here, looking at Sabando.
Again, you still have the highs and the lows of lows as well with All Knights, right? So when you're looking at this situation of how Sabana was able to win this map of Lotus for his team, was TPing across and getting behind enemy lines with the supporting cast. You saw the Fade C's deafening some people so you get behind and get these kills. But then you have these moments where now he has to go under the clutch, and he's read the whole map correctly, but when it comes down to that one small simple thing of trying to land onto that spike with the time remaining, under that pressure, clicked a little bit too quickly and missed that spike. And that stings because that actually allowed for them, or made them lose the game. It was almost like a PTSD as well, because in that roster is Adverso. And I don't know if you remember here, guys, but Adverso was also part of a Leviathan roster when you had that's the spike moment of Sideshow when Melzer TP'd on A Heaven, and he was in that roster as well for Leviathan in the forefront. So that stings a little bit, and hopefully he's going to be able to shake that off and then bring this here and bring back the Adverso that we know and the team that we know here in this series against M80.
And he can sting like a bee in a good way, too. They will insert Sabando in these really unique positions at these specific strat plays, like on Abyss, to get these multi-kills. Sabando can swing rounds in his favor with these high-risk, high-reward plays. And we'll see who will be rewarded with their best map picks as we see how this boils down.
Our first best of 5 here, too, for Zippo map select. Ascent being banned out first. I mean, AK, they had a pretty hard pull last time, and Vans, after what we got to see yesterday, yeah, checks out. Nobody's surprised by the M80 veto, but Haven to kick off the series.
Yeah, you probably would have said, okay, maybe we could play Ascent here against M80 because M80 didn't look good on the attack side at all against Galorus yesterday, but AK also did not have a good game on Ascent either when they played Ascension, their last match. They were just one tempoing, not taking any map control, and they realize it's probably their weakest map. But when you're looking at it right now for Haven, I mean, both of these teams are quite strong on it. There's a Neon composition for the AK side versus this Breach Jet here for M80, and they both have found some great success. I think if you're looking at the second map, the Lemon Kiwi, you're going to live or die by this map pick right here for Lotus, because it's M80's pick. They came out in the season in Challengers with a triple Sentinel composition. Then they come back into Ascension with the modification by adding a Breach and a Yoru with a Fade, but they haven't found the best success with this composition yet. So I wonder if they're going to go back to the tried and true, or if it's going to be, hey, how do we fine tune our Yoru comp?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the triple Sentinel. That is something to play in the regular season, and the Yoru is definitely a comfort pick for Koala Noob. But All Knights, they're on a win streak on this map. They continue to lean into the Fade Neon. So I wonder, with the triple Sentinel, would want to come back just to gut that Neon, or is the Cypher going to be enough? I would lean towards M80 going with their more recent composition, and how this Neon is going to try and dip, dive, and dodge towards all of this, Sentinel utility.
Yeah, and when I look at this now, and it only hit me now, All Knights so far in this Ascension have not had like a permaban to play against any team so far. So they were trying to work a 7 map pool, although not the best in all of their map pool, in all of their map matches. But to see that M80 continues to have this permaban of Bind, it kind of gives an advantage here onto All Knights on how they can play around this map veto. So now I'm actually looking back at it, and I'm kind of scared of this head-to-head now in terms of how we're going to trade these maps between these two teams.
I mean, I'm looking to, once we get into that map 3 and 4, because we're going back then to the 2 maps we saw last time these two teams faced, right at the beginning of the group stage with the Sunset and this Icebox. 2 maps that have been strong for M80 and AK. They didn't quite close out a map, but they took them to overtime on both. This was so quick here, Jen, and I think, too, that even if there is a way that, like, okay, M80 picked the Icebox, they had a devastating loss on that pretty recently, and AK have definitely shown that they can step up when needed.
And yeah, starting on Sunset, this is a known pain point for M80, one of their most lost maps, and it's a comfort pick for the Neon. So, analysis done there. Icebox, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something M80 have started to ban, despite this being one of their best maps. People are figuring out M80's Icebox, and they're gonna try it again, hoping that, well, maybe the prep work in a best of 5, you maybe ran out of time to cover the Icebox, but M80 can still go back to the tried and true and just hope to execute on the game plan and really put the ball in AK's court on how they're going to counter this. And Abyss, the decider, we haven't seen this from M80. I don't even know if we're going to get a game 5, though.
I actually maybe think so, because at this point, and I wanted to make this as a quick hit, there's been so many BO5s occasion for the team of All Knights. They played it 6 times so far in 2024. And how many times have M80 played it? 0 times. The last time they played a BO5 was the Ascension Grand Finals against the Guard last year where they lost it. So hopefully there's going to be some sort of training regimen that happened here on the M80's camp to simulate a BO5 so they can be ready to play against an All Knights that have gone to distance in multiple times of these BO5s.
All right, well, it's time to get started the series. Lower finals, let's go.
Igualmente se come el cable, vamos adelante, peligro absoluto. ¡La guerra por la falta! ¡Se ¡Vamos por 2! ¡Madre de Dios, el señor de la noche! Ese bando la pueden tener, siguen avanzando lentamente, nadie se entera. 1, 2 y quién está segundo. Brax a 150. De manera correcta, Evil Kick también en contra de Koala mismo.
Para la zona de codos y que va a evitar a su compañero, termina cayendo, está entrando Chuchero, se queda sin balas en el peor momento.
Para el Lower Final. Vamos a presentarlos. The final boss is here and comes looking for revenge. Monterrey, please, I want to make some noise for M80!
M80, reminiscent last year of Ascension, finding themselves back in the lower finals. Last year, fans, they made their way to the Grands, falling just a little bit short. This is their chance to get closer to that redemption story.
That's a thing. They called it as the final boss, but the final boss is currently being found here in the lower finals. It's almost like one of those moments where you're playing Mario, and sorry, Mario, the princess is in another castle. You have to fight the final boss once again here, and hopefully you'll be able to bounce back.
Que todos estábamos esperando. Quiero que retumben los corazones de toda nuestra región, porque es la última esperanza, la única esperanza. Quiero que recibamos a los caballeros. Quiero que recibamos a All Knights.
All Knights, no team has been more explosive than they have already. From the get-go, aiming hearts with this play style, and Jen, they have the opportunity. Close it out here. One best of 5 ahead of them to make themselves into the grand finals.
The stars of Latin America face the juggernauts of North America, winning split 2, the last remaining team from LATAM after Reta fell in groups. They got 2-0'd by M80 last time. That was the first week of the group stage, and this is a different chapter in their story. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to win. So far, it's 50-50, but M80 have been winning over the fans in chat, and they are locked in, ready to go. But All Knights have a sword and shield in hand. They will not go down without a fight.
I mean, you're talking about the last time these two teams faced, an M80 with the 2-0. But this was the match right here where I realized this was about to be such a close Ascension ahead of us. Taking to overtime on both of the maps, pushing was the hope of NA, the favorite going into this, to the absolute brink. And since then, we've seen that this competition has been so close at every point in the road, Vans. Nothing is free. And All Knights, with how they've played, they have the opportunity to push M80 to the brink quite again and maybe get the upset.
Yeah, and that's where it makes more sense as you're looking at the vetoes now, or the predictions rather, where it's leaning more towards M80 because of course you start at the median and then you give time for the chat to roll in, to answer in, and there's all of Koala's family in the chat right now supporting M80, so you know it's going to skew over the North American broadcast side, and it's going to be for M80. But this is going to be a fun game for sure. You talked about two games that went into overtime between these two teams as the opening game. And also, you had to pinpoint that the second map that went into all of these overtimes was Icebox, where Dante was playing an ISO. And he didn't have the best of times here against BCJ when they were trying to open up that B side of the site with Dante at the point. It was actually more on Adverso and how good of a game he played on that Sova that you mentioned earlier on.
Well, we got to talk about Haven and the Blacklight Agent select that is ahead of them. We've gotten to see these teams throughout the competition, so there's not necessarily the most surprises coming on out. And Jen, here we go. Dante, it'll be that Neon Koala on the Jet.
Yeah, the Jet KJ, this is the composition for M80. So he has a lot of comfort behind Yoru and less time than your usual Duelist on Jet, sure, but now he has to be more active. He has to be more mobile rather than a more steady play style, more information gathering on the Yoru. So different look out of Koala Noob, but still M80 don't really have a weakness in their map pool.
There may be a possibility of a hard time for Net, though, playing this KJ versus its Neon Breach. So hopefully he'll find ways to play around Omen Smokes that Xander could support. If not, they'll most likely have to play a lot of retakes against All Knights.
Well, it is time to get underway. The first map here in the lower finals of this best of 5 ahead of us. It's Haven. Who can get off on the right foot here? Let's find out and head on over to Uber and Wyatt to take you through.
Thank you very much, Sierra and the desk. And folks, we have everything we could ask for in this series. Some pretty banger maps, a very interesting draft. We've, of course, got Nico and the Mogging Pose already fired off, and Dante Diaz on the Neon. This is such an interesting map, I think, for both teams. M80 actually, why they banned Haven against All Knights when they played them in that first round, but it's been such a good map for them in general.
Yeah, very peculiar, right? In 2024, since Haven has come back, M80 have simply not lost. They're 5-0 on this map, and yet it's being picked into them by an All Knights who've already lost it twice in this tournament. So listen, I'm expecting them to obviously know something that we don't, to have figured something out that they feel that they can expose, but I'm just thinking, what? Because when we've watched M80 play this map against opposition here in Monterey, they have just picked them apart every round. It's been dominance, but not in a flashy way, in a comprehensive outplaying at every facet of the game type way. And so, listen, if All Knights can come out strong here on Haven, even take this map, then we've got a hell of a series on our hands, and that's a scary All Knights team.
Absolutely. I mean, when we compare these teams, M80 absolutely have the macro play down to a T. But All Knights come in with a level of firepower that threatens to overwhelm them on so many of these rounds. And I think that this Haven map is going to be a great showcase for it, right? It's where we've seen All Knights look to take the tempo, even on defense, push up, and especially make that A side of the map extremely dangerous for anyone from M80. But if there's anyone who knows how to play back and maybe try and receive some of this early aggression and punish it, it is going to be a team like M80. Very calculated, very methodical. And like you said, rounds that they win, absolutely comprehensive.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is just madness to see in general. I mean, before we were, you know, getting it tossed to us, Mitch, going back and thinking about where we were at this point in Ascension last year, at this point, it was just all first seed teams remaining. The two teams from NA, you know, aside from the second seed of NA, which were M80. And now, with 3 teams remaining, it's the NA first seed and 2 second seed teams. I mean, the script has been entirely flipped, and what LATAM and Brazil have offered up in terms of the level of play is just outrageous, beyond what anyone would have thought. This All Knights team are so impressive.
And already characteristically, All Knights have staked their claim here to a part of the map. They've snuck into Garage and have looked to embed Tinchoff here. Now, this is something we've seen from a number of All Knights pistol rounds. Well, might see M80 be ready for it. He's pinged out. Tinchoff in deep trouble now. Nismo able to capitalize there on that recon. And this kind of resets AK with limited map control elsewhere. They'll try for A-Long.
That is lovely from M80. Xander here might be in trouble. So the smoke gets a clean duel, but loses it out. Dante comes in. And now it's all in Kuala's backside. He's got the Sheriff, and here's that individual skill from All Night Sabando, who's really come to life deep into this tournament. Just exposing other areas of the map, keeping M80 on their toes, but they're making the right call. Look at this rotate.
They're going to see it. Little shoulder peek from Nismo. Yields that information. It won't be a fast hit from AK until we see the fault line come through. BCJs have a swing it though and finds Dante. Getting a little bit messy now as that recon is lighting up M80 on this C site. Nismo is able to avoid the aftershock for the time being and buy some time with one of his own. Now we're down to 20 seconds. It's getting a little ropey here, but All Night still have a player advantage and enough time to bounce over to A.
They have been routed. There's only 12 seconds on the clock, and Kuala is trying his damnedest to get to heaven as soon as he possibly can. The smoke is going to come down, and they're just getting the spike in with 5 seconds left. Koala can't do a thing.
He's low. One shot, though, is all he needs against someone like Nico Machine, but he's not being given the line. We're going to have a double up here in heaven for M80. They're smoked out on Link. We have a Verso tucked there anyway. Sabanda's able to find one. That's 3 for him on this pistol. Nismo at least gets involved. Now the 1v2. Recon has to be cleared. Time is short. Nismo sees a player below him. But Nico is ready to take the fight. 46 for Nismo. He needs to play off this fault line, and he gets his one. And Verso, though, a hard player to get past at the best of times. And this time for All Nights, a great adjustment late in the round gives him the pistol.
And you just can't get past them in a situation like that. Trying to get out of heaven with man disadvantage is just going to be impossible. And somehow Nismo even made that look close. There was a great rotation from M80 in that 3 versus 4 to get to C, but All Nights with just enough time to slip away and maneuver back to the free site elsewhere. Already an explosive first round with a few fantastic micro plays from either side.
A great start for All Night. M80, they're showing us they are willing to throw down on this map, but you can see it is just so big. Their resources stretched so thin on a round like that. Xander at A-Long was smoking Garage. He wasn't ready for the push up towards him at all. And Teachoff is going to cheat his way up here. M80 opt to give a lot of this map control away. Hope to catch, but this is the Ghost player. So a kill on Teachoff would be big, but man, you've got to get up early in the morning if you want to get the better of this guy. Now face down by 3, and he handles them comfortably. Walking away with 10 HP with the Ghost in hand. Such a low economy play for Tinchoff pays off.
And it is typical to see on these second round buys. You just leave your lurking player, typically that Cypher, with the Ghost. They're fine to take some fights. If they lose it, that's okay. Less typical, though, is winning a 1v3 alone on the A site.
With the Ghost? Just quietly. And that's All Night here. Facing down what is likely going to be a flawless here. It does appear that instead of perishing to the spike, Nismo hopes to catch people on the exit. Bold strategy, I'll say that much. Playing maybe too far back to even see any of it. I'm going to give them adding some time to discuss here. Nothing overly complex in this round from All Night. A successful foray up A-Long was more than enough, and that will be revealed here. At risk of being wallbanged down, 46 has to face the music. And now All Night to be able to walk away from this site and perhaps test Nismo here. With nothing but that Zen Classic in hand, you better hope it does the job for you. They don't know he's there. Okay, not even acknowledging his presence, and he can't even get the kill anyway, so perhaps that was justified. Oh my goodness.
I mean, that's got Nico absolutely just chuckling away 2 rounds in. He lives. They let him live. His economy's messed up. That is tough, man. That is really tough. I mean, somehow All Night's got... they extracted a lot of value from that round. I mean, that is madness.
Right there.
Time for a little bit of reset. Time for M80 to get in with their full actual buy against a bonus round that was not a weapon lost for All Night. Crossing into short with the cage concealing that movement. And due to that cage, M80 falling back. They need to recon.
Nothing got the recon either. It's messy. Dante's able to take 2 down on the way in, and quickly All Night go up a gear. They're swarming over this A site now, and M80 continuing to remain spectators on Haven so far.
Spike plant.
Just a dry re-clear where the players line up from M80. A big mistake. They want to go for this 3 versus 4. All of them spotted out now as well.
Net pings slowed up here by the Aftershock. Nico Machine's got more utility where that came from. In slides Dante, but Xander's going to be quicker to the punch. Fault lining towards Hell. This is going to be the play that M80 try and work off of. Dark cover paranoia mostly avoided. Adverso able to step aside of it. And there it is. These retakes are going to be difficult for M80 if they lose that site control.
I mean, it's just man advantage, but also just a great crossfire setup from All Knights and every M80 player trying to get out of just one smoke from the same angle. It's just not going to happen, but that double face, such an uncharacteristic, you know, lack of fundamentals in that situation from M80 lining up. And that is tough to watch.
Because that recon in lobby, Wyatt, is allowed to actually expire. No one shoots it. So there's a cyber cage up, but there's plausibility that it's just, you know, a fake use of util. M80 you're not ready for that player stack coming up. Sewers at them.
And with risking that retake 3 versus 4, it's depleted their economy entirely. Sheriffs, whatever they can get, and All Knights have barely lost any players so far in this game. Net, great shot to get his first kill so far in this game. And maybe M80 can flip the script here with an eco round win.
Again, this time they just concede all of this long control. Moves up. Now see some action, but again, Dante very, very good on these entries so far. And the customary smoke towards Heaven, smoke towards Link. Bob's your uncle, and M80 again have to retake the A sites.
And obviously the weaponry is better for All Knights, but this is an M80 that looks very out of sorts so far in terms of the gunplay. All Knights look way quicker on the trigger in these situations. The Eco Machine shutting down Koala on the dash in. Xander with a 1 trade, but still 2 versus 3. So trying to find a moment.
One enemy remaining.
Too much cover on that side. And Dante able to get involved. Savando finds his first for the round. This is Xander with the Marshall. And that'll be that. A 4th round here for All Knights. M80 with a chance to get back in. A thrifty there, though, would have gone a long way.
Would have gone a very long way. And they play that situation fine. You know, Net gets that kill in short. Beautiful falls back. Him and BCJ doubled up on site while his alarm bot watched for anyone coming up short, allowing them to double face long. But they just cannot continue to connect shots. Dante just swings out, kills both. I mean, they're hoping to at least retain that man advantage by getting one more or keeping these even, right? But just falling apart so early. Such a monotonous looking M80 in terms of the firepower right now. It is lacking in the face of such an explosive team that really thrives in just the honest gun duel department. I mean, well, I suppose it depends on your definition of honest when you're watching Neon's double slide around the map, but you know what I'm getting at.
But already a couple things that just shouldn't really have happened in this map to M80. The Tinchoff push up with a Ghost of 3k off that. Just, you know, I think they got a little bit bamboozled on that first gun round with not getting info about lobby and then just walking into a triple stack of players. I think M80 are struggling to read the intent here for All Knights. Again, it's, look, hard on this map. It's a big map. Your util doesn't cover it well. You really have to, you know, have a sixth sense about where to send that info gaining utility for it to actually give you value. So far, M80 have been a step behind constantly. This time, though, not the case. Guanub waits inside garage and Dante sails into the crosshairs.
That's the glass cannon out of the timeout called from Coach Happy. Sabanda has inserted himself into C-Long just to contain the rest of the team. Maneuvered towards B, wanting to keep that C split an option.
Cover going
later
out.
in the round.
That's the turret gone on B, so not much early detection there for M80 anymore. As a site, they often are looking to give up to play towards the extremities a bit more. This is better from BCJ, so now he confirms at least that there's some movement here towards A-Long.
And falling back, Nizima will be able to assist as well with the bridge utility to even just slow the advancement from All Knights into site so BCJ can retreat. But no, they are doubling up, intending on holding this together, and Inverso just goes down in the drone. The vintage way to get a kill with the Aftershock.
That's pretty dirty. Now All Knights points are priced into this. So this time M80 with a bit more confidence about playing post plant with a 5-player team. No one really in a flanking position here. So it might just be a classic M80 flood retake with 5, which is definitely a position we'd like them in. They look very comprehensive here when it comes to taking these fights. And it's a great start through the smoke. Nismo now to find Sabano. Tinchop wants to play close, but VCT gets the better of him. Oh boy, that from Nico, a little messy. But Koala Noob finishes the job. And M80 get on the board.
Nicely done out of the timeout. I mean, bringing that op into the fold, obviously. Removing Dante from the field instantly is always going to make the attempts to take sight more difficult. So in this one, M80 said, go ahead, take that site. We will play for the retake. And like you said, those are the situations where M80 thrive. That has been their advantage to me in this tournament and why they've been able to just you know, go 5-0 in the group stage, but they weren't, you know, eking out wins by the slimmest margin. But it was because they have a higher level of consistency in those big set 5-on-5, 4-on-4 retakes, situations like that compared to the field. That is where they will thrive. All Knight's a team that are going to thrive more in the chaos and the firepower.
All Knight's advance through heavy fire, and Quantum's actually able to get away. Dante catches him, maybe slightly overextended on that line, and now M80 is almost certainly going to be forced into a retake once more. This time with a player down against a full-strength All Knight's team.
Apparently, so Nismo does have that rolling thunder. BCJ could deal some serious damage with the Odin. Sabano just intending on slowing things down with the paranoia when that ultimate is popped.
Finding his time. Rolling thunder now comes out from the defenders. Can they use this to get out of heaven, though? They can't see any vacate. They're tucked on site until Dante appears, and that is beautiful. 3 in the round for Dante now. Just Nismo standing for M80. And he's hardly on the side itself. Oh, what a job from Dante.
Yeah, my bad. That's just, at the end there, that's not the definition of honest Valorant gunplay, Mitch. That's as dishonest as it gets. How lovely is that, though, from All Knights? They are fully expecting playing for retake with this rolling thunder, and that counter utility comes in just after that earthquake sails by, and all of the M80 players stuck in the chokes. They can't capitalize. Then they try to come in, walk right into the crossfire setups. Dante pressing forward.
He just swings, he slides in off the contact of the rest of AK on site. Overwhelms M80. So brutal. Look at this now. We have a big push up for M80. They really want to get close here. Something tells me Sabanda, though, has been tipped off to this. Dark cover thrown down in lobby, ideally to break up a crossfire if that's what M80 pushed up to create, which they have.
Yeah, also just saying, yeah, we could be walking into lobby. You have no idea. Of course, M80, they do know because the majority of their forces are over there. But now falling back from A, All Knights are really taking their time trying to explore the map. Watch for any of that aggression that could be coming out. Try and counter it, absorb it, maybe find that first pick due to it, but it's not going to come. Really clear, and drone broken before spotting Tinchoff, who's trying to take some space. Breaking that turret, denying passive information gain for the defenders.
But also not giving enough time there for Zeta to play off the turret's contact.
30 seconds left.
Now, the part of the map that M80 took control of early is being re-cleared by All Knights. They're actually selling a fake over at A. And it has left B entirely open here. But M80, of course, poised to wrap around through Garage. That's going to be an important part of the map for them here in the next few moments. We will have a plant down. Quantum needs to get value out of these knives, and he's looking for a chance to do so. Here comes the Hunter's Fury, though. This could be gameful indeed. Xana's able to find Tinchop, and Savannah wants to linger and fight. And All Knights get the plant down.
I mean, I think every Latin American fan there was on the edge of their seat waiting to see if the plant was actually going to come down. There was so little time that it baits BCJ into letting that Hunter's Fury fly. And it just gets nothing done. 2 ultimates expended from M80, thrown straight into the bin, all for naught. As All Knights just in the least All Knights fashion play the slowest round, just manipulating the rotates, breaking utility piece by piece. causing so much disarray.
That was, of course.
I mean, what value they've been able to extract from that, man?
I mean, all M80 have been able to do this game is a 5-man retake in a 5v3 over on the A side, because they got some nice picks early in the round, and one of them was from Koala playing contact. There was a glass cannon off in that round. This time he has some armor. And VCJ says, if you're going to abuse Neon, I'm going to abuse the Odin.
Name a more iconic duo, NA Challengers teams, and spamming Odin on Haven. They actually love to do it. All Knight's gathering up now outside of C. They haven't really gone for an explosive hit here yet. It looks like round 8 will be the time. Site unguarded. Just that alarm bot to deal with, and obviously that's not much at all to deal with.
It's so rough here for M80, but nice timing. They send 2 out of garage to guarantee it, at least the trade.
Spike planted.
However, Lockdown here is going to deny those entrenched positions for All Knights in the post plant and force them to play from C long entirely. Adversa, though, has a Hunter's Fury, so it is going to be pretty hard for M80 to break this setup.
Yeah, Versa didn't care at all about using the Hunter's Fury to actually break the lockdown. They're just playing the post-plant spell.
Here it is. Yep, BCJ taken down by a shock dart. He was the first to step up to try and get the defuse. Xander, though, gets down C-Long. He's going to try and deny this lane hold, but Adversa can play back with the Fury. Still, the defuse came through, though. The timing wasn't there. M80 with the antidote to All Knight's brand of chaos.
Yeah, I think the antidote to chaos was even more chaos, just sending it at them, spamming through. I'm surprised that Hunter's Fury didn't come through earlier, frankly. I was looking for it, and when it finally came, Adverso had just pulled the trigger too late. Both Sovas just not able to get the value they wanted from the ultimates on back-to-back rounds now.
That is such an important one-way that Xander throws down to C-Long. It lets him get up there in a cubby. And then he's able to find 2. All Knight's not ready for that level of push-up.
I must wait a moment.
Gonna slow things down. Nano Swarm here denies Dante that easy push into garage, but he's still gonna take it. Net's gonna have to get busy here. This util is much better from M80 this round.
I mean, what is that from Titchoff, man? What is that? The firepower on this squad is just outlandish. How is everyone hitting shots like that? How is it happening? 2 times now, Koala has been scoped up on the angle and bested by an All Knight's rifler.
That, frankly, is just not good enough for M80. The BCJ to recover the operator. But into that B site they go. Nanoswarm will deny Adverso the chance to push up. Not that he really had plans for that. Just a recon to check.
Spike planted.
Well, that shock dart is a little too far forward. Either way, Nisma's able to break it the old-fashioned way and run into Tinchoff again, who is indomitable this round. The guy will not be shifted.
I'm out of here.
Dante trying to get active backside, causing a bit of a distraction. Adverso allowed to push up because of it. So much pressure on the M80 players, they can't even think about getting to the site right now because they have to watch 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock. They're everywhere, man. They're in the walls. Xander doesn't know where to look.
I'm out of here.
And Xander obviously was holding the opposite side. Fair enough. Couldn't make the correction nearly quick enough. And we'll see Dante. Of course, it's never free. It's never easy. BCJ gonna be corralled here, and that operator will be rested from his cold, dead fingers. All Night, 7 rounds on its attack side.
Watching this right now, and if you were to draw a comparison between the All Knights we're seeing on this attack versus the All Knights we saw even just the other week in their first game, which was against M80, to how they were playing then, and then go back and look at how they were playing in LATAM a month and a half ago, the improvements from this team have just been monumental. This attack side is so dynamic right now. And even just starting this tournament, it was all gas, just 24/7 aggression. The way they're manipulating the map right now is really on a different level from where they just were. This is such an impressive way to start things off.
Oh my God, Tinchoff is having an incredible map so far. Such impactful kills. And just as I was trying to gas up M80's good util usage early.
I mean, come on, man.
I mean,
come on.
I respect it from M80. They're trying for this. But I mean, they are getting completely outdueled. Yes, obviously weaker weaponry this round to work with. But even on those gun rounds, excuse me, just not have what it takes. And yeah, he's smoking here at all. Yes, I concur. He is having the time of his life sitting there waiting for All Knights to push on to A. And this is a cooking if I've ever seen it.
And speaking as well to sort of the comparison that I was drawing, you know, watching this team back in LATAM when they were going through qualifying and, you know, when they made it through but lost to Raider, they were here as the second seed. Individually, coming into this tournament, I felt like, all right, this team, they could get some cheeky wins off the back of Dante being this unreal Neon player that is just going to be impossible for other teams to wrangle. He's just so good. And then Adverso certainly was having his moments, was looking impressive. But I'm blown away by how well-rounded they are right now. It's just not at all what I expected to see from these guys. It is massively impressive.
And I felt in that LATAM final that Tinchoff was actually by far the weakest player on All Knights. He looks so drastically different at this point. At LAN, he's been great. It's not just been this game, but in particular, the things that he's been able to do, whether it's a ghost or a rifle in his hands, having a really outsized impact on the game, putting a ton of extra pressure on an already very thinly stretched M80 defense side. And I'm sorry, but like, when all 5 of your players has this level of firepower, it doesn't matter how good your util is at the start of the round. Tinchoff is just shooting Koala Noob in the face while he's holding a line with an operator. And it just shouldn't be happening.
They've been doing such a great job at stopping M80's efforts to retake these sites, and they haven't even given M80 the opportunity to play this C-site defense how they like to, which is where they get a lot of their Haven defensive round wins.
Okay,
nice. Noob, finally. Yeah, it's been rough goings with that operator, but
and that's obviously why Jet is so important. He can repost after being forced off the angle by that Al drone for no cost, really. So it's important to find kills like that. You have to really dig deep for them. Might AK look elsewhere, but Xander pushed up. This time a little more passively, not caught walking. As All Knights come in, maybe can now start to get a feel for the flow and the tempo that All Knights like to play with, but this will not be expected to survive. Jump scare! Koala Noob, though, ready. Wasn't watching that particular angle, but Savano exposed enough of his gallbladder to have it punctured.
And it's no coincidence that 2 of M80's round wins, 2 times Koala Noob was able to get the first blood with the op. He's had 4 opportunities for first kills so far in this game. 2 of them success, 2 of them failure. And the 2 successes, they resulted in round wins. Sometimes the game is simple. Those missed shots add up.
We don't want to boil the game down to an operator player getting picks or not, right? But against specifically what All Knights are doing, it's not just important, it's absolutely pivotal that Koala Noob is able to find these
10
openers.
10 seconds left.
So he can get some wind in his sails, a bit of confidence going, and maybe win back some of these defense rounds for M80, because they've only got one more to get.
Yeah, one more to get on a map where I do really typically respect the defensive play a lot.
What you got?
You know, Koala Noob is up there pretty high if you look at the entire ACS hierarchy in the tournament. The number 1 wins and losses in the tournament right now for ACS is still Dante. He has just been too good. M80's last chance here. Where's Koala Noob going to post up with this operator? C long, while the rest of the team get to focus their attention over on A. They've got the setup ready to deal with this. They have that breach utility ready to counter All Knight's effort to get up long or to press into short.
They are so invested in this A hold. He has the requisite amount of Killjoy utility set up there. And of course, AK just want to play away from those Koala Noob angles. If they want to contact the map like they have been, they're going to be walking into a roaring thunder here in a moment. Yep, here it goes. Alarm bot triggered. And here come the rest of M80. Can they get up to it, though? Okay, they catch Dante trying to cross back past that fast lane. That's that first pick. Hard one with a breach ultimate, but they'll take it.
Yeah, that is really thorough from M80, knowing that someone would probably dive into that right corner, exposing Dante. Another first death for him. All Knights are still posted up towards A, and at this point, M80, 40 seconds on the clock there. Content to retain some position here as the smoke is cycled from Xander. It's going to be even more difficult for All Knights to go out. They don't have explosivity from the Neon.
Net is trying to get out of there. Into the mystery machine he goes. But here come All Knights now in a position to swarm the site. But it ain't even fully given it up. They're 3 stacked here over towards Link. But this aftershock is such an issue. And Xander was caught out in the open. Tabano moves up now, TPs into that front corner. And again, it's going to be an even-handed retake attempt for M80 in the last round of this half. What can they work with here? They've got BCJ's util. They can light up some of these players on the side. There's Nismo Splash. Out of heaven they go. Koanub inside a cloud burst here. That dissipates. And he sees Tinchop picked around the corner. But no one's looking for Sabando. Oh, that's so dangerous. Net now has to clutch this. And Sabando is just too good. 4 for Net. But Sabando comes away with the dub.
What a heads-up teleport from Sabando as the hit was coming in while the flashes were ringing out. Just right onto the box. Teleports behind the M80 players retaking. So smart. So smart. And again, M80, they're struggling to find success on these retakes. The counter utility as they're trying to get into the site is lovely, and the crossfires have always been set up exactly as they need to be. You know, it's genuinely, this isn't an All Knights that are just running around with Dante shooting everybody. They're just winning purely off firepower. No, it's these retake situations on A where they have the site where they are outplaying M80. They are outplaying them in terms of the utility.
And that is a difficult half to walk away from. 4, you feel like it's enough for M80. Here, though, this is going to feel a little bit scary walking into this second half. And we know All Knights are pretty inventive when it comes to their defense sides. We know they like to push up. We know they like to trap, surprise. M80 should have so much footage on this team, though, in terms of how they like to play these early rounds. That was really showcased every time we saw AK go to Haven. And it makes me wonder if that was half the reason M80 wanted to ban this map against them in the first place. But of course, they're a bind-banning team. And in a series with only 1 ban, this is a best of 5, folks. They have to take them on this map. But it's a Haven that M80 haven't lost since it made its way back into the map pool. They haven't lost at Ascension. Not in challenges.
5-0 this year. We're heading towards the 5-1, though. The Latin American second seed. First map of the lower bracket finals onto the side swap. This isn't a comp that M80 haven't played against in a match before. They've played against pretty much all of the relevant Haven comps under the sun right now and have beaten them all this year, including this Neon. We'll see if they can rejuvenate themselves on the attack side.
Look at that. I mean, at no point did AK have to save or half buy in the previous half, based on the distribution of those round losses and how clean some of their round wins were. And that's Sack here.
Early on, BCJ sends that shock dart into Garage, intending on breaking some trips to try and drag All Knight's focus there, but it's Tinchov just playing really a deep setup that he can fight off of if he desires to do so. Just all the way, yeah, the timing isn't there. 1 trip broken.
Spike planted.
Still remaining. Maybe he'll get lucky.
He's able to get through it there. Tinchov knows, though, at least 1 player in hell. It also means an opportunity for Nico to flush them out with an aftershock or something similar. That is pretty big, though. Those trips doing some serious work.
Come on.
I mean, I don't know if Tinchov should be getting it. Yeah, that's a freebie in my books. Here comes Dante. A light from heaven, and bam! Nismo's head goes rolling. That is Phil.
1 enemy remaining.
Tinchov able to fight a second here at Adverso. The second line of offense to come through. Xander, my God, you've got a job to do, son. Put on those big boy pants and get to work. or take the day off. No, that's your call, honestly.
I can't. I am already. It is map 1. We're not done. I'm getting a little bit speechless at some of these moments. I mean, I'm not even going to comment on that right there. Let's just move past it. The retake utility there, though, is just so good. It's simple. Obviously, it's a pistol route, but it's placed where it needs to be. That fault line with the relay bolt, the slide out, the stun onto default. That space that you're able to create with the Neon there. Not only does Dante get the first, but the rest of the team, they're able to get in after the fact. That was something that M80 were just not able to do when they were trying to retake it themselves. Trying to retake, against those stuns can just be a nightmare. But retaking with them, I mean, that can really bear fruit, and that's exactly what happened there. M80, because of that plant, they forced into this net already on low HP. They're risking it all right now on this buy, and they have to. The round deficit is too large.
Sting is here for 4 of M80. All Knights, of course, but very much a default setup here. Tinchoff has deeper trips this round, though, so we're more of an early warning system because All Knights don't necessarily just want to fight on the side itself. And Tinchoff can play off that trip. No, he says, okay, too many of them there. Cybergate surviving time. Fault line still caught him. Wasn't ready for the angle there, but Dante is on the site. And Koal riddled with bullets through that smoke. Now M80 pull everybody out. No one embedded, and this is all seen. Big Brother's watching, folks.
Look at the top of the map right now. All Knights, they've already considered just rotating off to pick up the other side of the map because they still have this trip here. They still have Tinchoff inserted. He's covered the Stinger as well. I mean, if he even just gets one here, that's more than enough. If he lives here, that's more than enough. And there's the free one and a smoke to play with.
Again, so many corners that have to be checked. All Knights fighting in the site. They are not going to play retake. They're going to throw down. Tinchoff for 3. All Knights elated. Great conversion off that second round of the half, and M80 are in serious trouble.
I mean, this is just looking like when my 5-stack runs into the Smurf 5-stack. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is tough. It's just all the simple things, the small things that All Knights are doing correctly. Rotating off A there, but Tinchoff left. He has the trip that he's given the smoke to play with. He repositions himself exactly where he needs to be, recovering the Stinger. It's all the little things that are just adding up every single round. And again, the way that they explode back into the site with the Neon, with the stuns to help him when the pressure is on Tinchoff short. And the spike is going down, man. This is so impressive. M80... they have to force into this again. Dante's already pushed up, and he's already got the stun and the swing. I mean, they just can do no wrong right now.
Dante dancing. Oh my goodness! Disco dancing on Nismo's lifeless body. The confidence at an all-time high. The coffers overflowing. The scoreline decisive. And that barely feels like he's playing the bloody game.
Until we thought better of him, sometimes in old esports, remember when there would be, a BO5 and the team with the advantage, they would start a map up? They can just pretend it's that kind of situation. Yes. They're gonna have to move forward from this point. Yeah, may as well just be those bad 2011 old esports rules when we would play BO5s. This is just destruction. It's just time for the mental reset to move on to their map pick, Lotus.
Gotta go.
A map pick, which is by no means a sure thing for M80. Dante says that's so nice. I'm do it twice. Nismo though opens up Savannah there. Swings out behind the side, falls to a Bulldog. So, C crawling with M80 operatives. Norbia get themselves a post plant here. Note the weaponry. A Guardian at least there for Net. Weaponry approximately even between these two. All Knights have not looked to upgrade on any of those weapons just yet. And it's going to be tough to get into this C side, no matter who you are.
Not trying to get some position out of long here just to keep his eyes on Tinchoff, who has just been a thorn in their side all game.
got that big map point here, and Dante knows it. He charges into the site, and he's found another. Xander falls. He was trying to play from long, but Tinchov in the wraparound. 3 now on the overdrive pop. BCJ
No problem.
sticks a fork in the PowerPoint, and All Knights put them out of their misery. What an utter drubbing Haven has been, and what a way to start the series for All Knights.
I mean, what can you even say? Even that final retake was just gorgeous. That relay bolt connected onto everybody. Dante's just getting the freest kills. He's making space for everyone, but space be damned. He's just gonna kill everyone on his own with his own utility. What can you, I mean, what can you even say? This was just a 30-minute All Knights glaze session, Mitch, but what else can you do? What else can you do, man? M80
that is not right. That is just so...
they simply have to have the greatest mental reset in all of their days to head onto their map pick Lotus.
I tell you what, I will give M80 one more map, and then I am calling a humanitarian crisis. I'm actually calling the UN in. This is ridiculous. Rough start to the series there for M80. They had to take it to Haven, and All Knights absolutely wiped the floor with them. Let's see if they can bounce back. We're going to take a break. Everyone needs one, I think. Bit of a reset before we come back for Lotus.